He's in his 9th year in the National Football League. He owns 2 Super Bowl rings. He's Eli Manning, the Giants quarterback. Moments ago, he spoke with Michelle Tafoya.
Eli, last year you came into Philadelphia and beat the Eagles, but that was the only time in the last 8 meetings that you managed to do that. So what 1 or 2 things must your offense do to have success tonight?
Well, we just have to have good first and second down production. You can't get stuck in third and longs versus defensive line. They're great pass rushers. We got to take care of the football, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to hit a couple big plays. We got to hit those.
You're without wide receiver Akeem Nicks. Last week against Carolina, Ramses Barden filled in very nicely, but that was against a soft press. Against this very tight physical press of the Eagles, what are you expecting from him?
Well, we're going to have to beat press. Like you said, it's a man-to-man, an opportunity to big, tall receivers, so hopefully he can get a clean release. We can throw it down the field. If not, you can always back shoulder those big, tall receivers. So all our guys have to beat a combination of different coverages, but when they are pressed man, it's an opportunity to make some big plays, but we got to make sure we get clean releases.
Eli, thanks very much.
Thanks a lot.
He's without Akeem Nicks, as we mentioned. He'll also be without starting right tackle David Deal, but the Giants do get safety Ontrell Roll. He is playing with a sore knee. As for the Philadelphia Eagles, they're without starting left tackle King Dunlap, and they're also missing starting linebacker Akeem Jordan.
All right, thank you, Michelle. Now, just a couple of minutes ago, they introduced the teams. And then the last introduction was Brian Dawkins, who gets his number retired tonight. He spent 13 seasons with the Eagles, the last 3 with Denver, went to the Pro Bowl last year, and they will retire number 20, and he got the team and the crowd all stirred up as we get set for the Giants and the Eagles. Week 4 of the 2012 season. You've got David Wilson, their number 1 draft choice. The rookie back to receive. Wilson out of Virginia Tech. Alex Henry will kick off the fireworks into the night air in Philadelphia, where there's a chance of sprinkles a little bit later on. Crowd in full throat, and off we go from Philly. Wilson from the 3-yard line. Cuts it back, and the rookie with a good return on the opening kickoff all the way out to the 39-yard line as we take a look at the Giants offense.
Eli Manning, Ole Miss.
Ahmad Bradshaw, Marshall.
Henry Hynoski, Pittsburgh.
Victor Cruz, Massachusetts.
Dominic Hickson, Akron.
Martellus Bennett, Texas A&M.
William Beatty, UConn.
Kevin Booth, Cornell.
David Boss, Michigan.
Chris Snee, Boston College.
Sean Locklear, NC State.
Bradshaw starting after spraining his neck in week 2, and Andre Brown had a terrific game in Carolina. We're going to see him tonight, but first off the bat, it's Manning to the air, intended for Hickson, who starts in place of Hakeem Nicks. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Eli Manning, his numbers right there. Chris mentioning over 1,000 yards, leading the National Football League in yardage. Played okay on opening night, didn't play well in the first half against Tampa, had a phenomenal second half, and then played very well in the Thursday nighter against Carolina. Andre Brown is in the game, so the backup running back, who figures to see a lot of action tonight, gets stuffed in the backfield. Stopped by Chaney and Cole, and let's meet that Eagle defense.
Jason Babin, Western Michigan.
Cullen Jenkins, Central Michigan.
Derek Landry, De La Salle High School.
Trent Cole, Cincinnati.
Michael Kendricks, Cal. D'Amico Ryans, Roll Tide. Jamar Chain, Mississippi State.
Dominique Rogers, Gramada, Lakeland Elementary.
Nate Allen, South Florida.
Kirk Coleman, V, Ohio State.
Nnamdi Asomugha, Narbonne High School, UC Berkeley.
Could be the best pair of corners, Asomugha and Rogers Camardi, in the National Football League. It's 3rd down and 10. And Eli has to take a low snap out of the gun and then escapes and gets it away, and it is caught at midfield by Cruz, and that should be enough for a 1st down. Victor Cruz, who had his coming out party in Philadelphia last year in week 3, and it begins to rain, as you can see.
About as good as you're going to get out of Eli Manning. A horrible snap. Finds his slot receiver, Victor Cruz, escapes pressure, throws off balance, and picks up a 1st down. This is going to be the matchup tonight. Brandon Boykin, the young rookie in there, and they're going to try and isolate Victor Cruz on him.
2 rookies on that Philly defense playing a lot better. at this time this year than last year. And that pass is overthrown. intended for Bradshaw. Manning hits the deck, and it'll be 2nd down and 10.
I tell you, this Giant offensive line has to pick it up a little bit because right now they are getting overwhelmed at the point of attack. The Eagles will rotate in 9 defensive linemen, and they are nonstop. When you watch these guys play, it is as fast-paced front 7 as you will see anywhere in the league because they're never playing more than a player or 2 at a time, and they expect intensity, and the Giants were worried, could they match that intensity up front?
Key guys are the outside guys, Babin and Cole, 93 and 58. Manning with a deep drop, escapes, and then just has to throw it into his own bench. So it'll be 3rd and 10, and one of those guys they rotate in is Fletcher Cox, picked in the 1st round out of Mississippi State. Put the heat on that time, 3rd and 10.
Well, Sean Locklear, the right tackle, is going to be the guy that we're going to have to maybe give some help to. Brandon Graham, a young man that a lot of people thought was a bit of a bust, has now come back and over the past couple of weeks has played pretty well. There's another good one right there, Fletcher Cox. He can do it all.
So again, a 3rd and long. Manning converting on his 1st. Play clock was down to 1. Manning off his back foot throws incomplete. That time Cruz is covered. The pass is short. Fletcher Cox put the heat on again. Manning goes to the turf again, and it's 4th down.
Well, they're not just blitzing up front. They're bringing slot blitzes now off the edge. And what that does, it creates one-on-one matchups inside. You see Fletcher Cox able to get through and get the pressure on Eli Manning, who really had to throw off balance that entire series.
Steve Weatherford with the line of scrimmage, the 50. Damaris Johnson is back to receive it, and he very tardily calls for a fair catch and makes it at the 11-yard line. Eagles take over for the first time on offense when we come back. Sunday Night Football brought to you by Southwest Airlines. You can find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Frost Brewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By the entirely new Lexus ES, introducing a stunning work of technology. And by Papa John's, the official pizza sponsor of the NFL. That was Tuesday at a local school, Commages School here in Philadelphia. 20 Eagles and cheerleaders reading to local children. As you take a look at that Eagle defense on the bench, and Brian Dawkins really got them stirred up. Good first series for them, and now Vic takes over at his own 11-yard line with McCoy as the running back. And will they feed it to McCoy in the first quarter tonight? They start by sending him to the outside, and the Giants are right there as Roll comes up to make the stop. Let's meet the Eagle offense.
Michael Vick, Virginia Tech.
LaShawn McCoy,
Pitt Panthers.
Deshaun Jackson, California.
Jeremy Macklin, Mizzou Tigers.
Jason Avant, Carver Military Academy.
Brent Selleck, Cincinnati.
Demetrius Bell, Northwestern State. Evan Mathis, Alabama.
Dallas Reynolds, Brigham Young University.
Danny Watkins, West Kelowna, Station 31.
Tyler Ehrman, Saginaw Valley.
Vic now short, drop, stays in the pocket, and the pass goes through the hands of the fullback, Stanley Havili. So Michael Vick had that spectacular year in 2010. Then last year, of course, the Eagles went out after the lockout, the free agent signings, and everybody thought this was going to be, as Vince Young said, the dream team. Of course, they came back to haunt them. Started out 4-8 last year, but the Eagles ended the season by winning 4 straight. Then they won all 4 preseason games in their first 2 games this year before losing to Arizona. So Vic trying to regain some of the old magic from a couple of years back. And on 3rd and 10, he has to dump it off underneath, and that'll be a short gain for Brent Selleck, who takes it up to the 17. So it's 3 and out, and the Eagles will have to punt from deep in their own territory.
Yeah, pressure immediately on Mike Vick, and so far my fear for this game is looking like it's coming true on both sides, that neither one of these offensive linemen on either side can really match up with these defensive linemen, and so it's going to be a bit of an unusual game. Maybe the team that gets their running game going first is the one with the big advantage.
The ex-Cowboy Matt McBriar, who was cut before the season and then brought back this week, will kick it away. Ruben Randall fields it at the 29-yard line, and Randall can fly. He's up past the 40, spins around. And Randall, a rookie out of LSU, picked in the second round, brings it back to the 45-yard line. 3.5 minutes into the game. No score in Philadelphia. You can enhance your viewing experience by checking out SNF Extra at NBCSports.com. And tonight, Trey Thomas is our guest social media analyst, along with Michelle and Mike Florio. So you can check in with the gang there. A lot of good information. Sunday Night Football Extra. Bradshaw is the back. And Ahmad takes the ball across the 50-yard line to the 48-yard line, where he's tackled by Fletcher Cox.
Yeah, get back to basics here when you really have to find a way with these double teams up here and just take these smaller guys and move them off. The advantage that the Giants have is that they're bigger physically than the Philadelphia Eagles defensive line. So if you're backing up and letting them use your speed against you, then that works to their advantage.
Giants now have Bradshaw and Wilson, the two running backs in the backfield, flanking Manning, who fakes a toss, and then it's a forward pass. It's a forward pass. It's what amounts to a shovel pass. No fumble, incomplete, 3rd down and 5.
You know, they keep trying to find a way to get David Wilson in the game. He had a nice opening kickoff return, but this is maybe not perfect, but certainly good enough. You hope that the running back can handle that one, and now you end up with a 3rd down pass protection kind of situation.
Well, we saw Wilson in his debut fumbling against Dallas and didn't play very much the rest of that night, trying to work his way back into some playing time. That won't help. 3rd and 5. And Manning guns one, and it's caught at the 30-yard line for a first down. A flag is thrown. That's Bennett to the 10-yard line. He goes. So Martellus Bennett, who came over from the Dallas Cowboys with a flag thrown. The regular refs, as you know, are back. You can tell by Eli's look with Ron Winter ready to make the call. It's going to come back. That would have been a 38-yard gain. Instead, as Winter tells us,
holding. Offense number 65. 10-yard penalty to keep 3rd down.
Will Beatty, they're minus deal, so you got Beatty and Locklear playing the tackle spots for the Giants. Foul on Beatty.
Yeah, holding doesn't do justice to this one.
Yeah, right.
That's a chokehold right there. And it's too bad. It's a great play by Martellus Bennett on the outside. This is going to be the matchup. Michael Kendricks, the rookie, trying to cover Martellus Bennett, who's had 3 touchdowns already for the Giants. And Tom knows. He knows they are going to struggle in pass protection tonight.
3rd and 15. Back at the Giant 41-yard line. It's a 4-man rush. Manning throws it over the middle. Bradshaw makes the catch and gets taken down at the 50-yard line by Jenkins. 6 yards short of the first down, and that sets up Weatherford's second punt.
I tell you, I thought that was a pretty good job by Bradshaw holding on to that ball. He really didn't see Cullen Jenkins coming in behind him, and Jenkins took a shot at ripping that thing out of there, just couldn't get it done.
Speaking of ripping, that's what Coughlin did with Beatty after the holding call. Damaris Johnson back to receive Weatherford's punt. Nose down with backspin on it. Fielded at the 7-yard line, and then nothing but white shirts are there. And again, he called for a fair catch earlier. Catches this one inside the 10. Philly starts deep in its own territory again. Beginning Wednesday, October 10th, NBC, a new series from executive producer Dick Wolf. Their job is to save lives and leave no one behind. It's Chicago Fire, premiering Wednesday, October 10, right here on NBC. Giants offensive line, Bradshaw in that mix as well. Eagles start this drive from the 10-yard line. Vick in the pocket, but not for long, and Vick almost gets dumped in the end zone for a safety, but is able to get it away. Michael Vick chased by Kenny Phillips, who comes in from the safety spot, and Rocky Bernard, 2nd and 10.
And I think Vick saw it. Here's the blitz coming here, and then Rocky Bernard, I believe, right in there, coming into the inside. But so far now, we have yet to see either team pass protect for their quarterback. And you know, as much as they want to put the ball in Mike Vick's hands and throw it around, at some point they've got to let this new look offensive line come forward and get established a bit.
Fortunately, he got that one past the line of scrimmage in the air. Otherwise, it would have been grounding to the safety. And this is Bryce Brown, who is a rookie out of Kansas State. Started his college career at Tennessee and gets tackled by JPP.
Yeah, and this is going to be a mismatch all night long here. Going up against Demetrius Bell. They're trying to give him a little help by running that sprint draw inside him occasionally, so Pierre-Paul doesn't just come flying around the corner. But as we've already seen tonight, he's pretty good playing the run, too.
3rd and 11. And Vick under pressure again as to slide away. And that one is caught by Jackson at the 41-yard line. Deshaun Jackson got free along the sideline right in front of the Giant bench to 32 yards on a 3rd down and 11.
One of the problems you're going to have, Jackson on the outside, if Mike Vick can buy some time, nobody's going to cover Deshaun Jackson down the field for that long. And so by Vick scrambling out here, he knew the blitz was coming. He bought a little extra time, and there you go, big play off your goal line.
Spun away from Webster playing with a cast with a broken hand. 1st and 10. And McCoy. Flag is thrown. For the moment, he is at the Giant 45-yard line. But this one with Kenny Phillips down. Phillips is hurt. Flag in the offensive backfield. So the Giants, who are already decimated in that secondary, even the guys who are playing are all hurt. And now they got another problem.
Phillips was the only one healthy playing back there.
Offense number 79. 10-yard penalty. Repeat 1st down.
It's the veteran 8-year man, Todd Harriman. So Phillips being attended to. Phillips got up, able to walk off, and they're still looking at him as we take a look at the play, and Stevie Brown comes in to take his spot.
Yeah, LaShawn McCoy does that to a lot of people. Just beaten on the move and then collapsed on that right knee.
So 1st and 20 after the hold on Harriman's from the 31-yard line, approaching the halfway mark of a scoreless first quarter. Vick takes the high snap and then hands it to McCoy. No gain. Let's take a look at the Giants defense.
Justin Tuck, Notre Dame.
Linville Joseph, East Carolina.
Rocky Bernard, Texas A&M. Jason Pierre-Paul, South Florida.
Matthias Kiwanuka, Boston College.
Chase Blackburn, Akron.
Michael Bowley, Southern Miss.
Corey Webster, LSU.
Kenneth Phillips, DU.
Antrell Roll, BU.
Prince Amukamara, Nebraska.
Mukamara missing the first couple of weeks with an ankle sprain. 2nd and 21. Short pass to Clay Harbor over the middle to the 37-yard line. A lot of different ways to go against Michael Vick. We've seen them all through the years, Chris. So what's Perry Fuel's strategy tonight?
Well, you know, they've tried the mush rush. They've tried all kinds of different things. But I think their belief is their best chance is if he stays in the pocket, reads defenses. They're going to bring some pressure, but try and stay in those lanes. Don't let him escape forward up the middle.
Giants nearly jumping. In fact, there's contact up front. That's Kiwanuka coming across the line. Ron Winter is the ref tonight. It is 3rd and 14.
Neutral zone infraction. Defense number 94. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
That'll make it 3rd and 9. The Eagles have had a lot of success against the Giants, but the Giants, when they send 5 or more since 2010 against Vick, have done well with 4 sacks, low pass rating. See what they do here. 3rd and 9. And they send those 4. Vick that time with a good pocket and throws to Brent Selleck with another flag. So for the moment, he has a first down, and the Giants are indicating this one's against Philadelphia. And Coughlin coming out on the field is saying, I'm declining.
Holding. Number 79 offense. Penalties decline. It's a 4th down.
That is Harriman's
Yeah, and this is a rough one here because basically Harriman's got run over by Justin Tuck coming right here. He's outside looking at OCU Manura, and Tuck just came and ran over him, and he kind of grabbed the back of the jersey, and there you go.
So they couldn't hold on. Pass incomplete. Vic is 3 of his first 6. Matt McBriar, longtime Cowboy. And that kick is nearly deflected. It's a low liner. It's fielded at the 15-yard line, but good coverage that time. Will Hill came in and almost got a hand on it. And Brandon Hughes was there as well. So the Giants start from their own 15. 4 key guys, 2 for each team in tonight's game. Tuck and Pierre-Paul, Babin and Cole. 57 sacks, tops in the league going back 19 games. And the Giants 54 with 46 coming from the defensive line. So both lines are terrific. And there are the sack leaders individually. So Pierre-Paul with about a sack a game, and Babin with more than a sack per game, 20 and a half, going back to opening day last year.
You know, the interesting thing about it is Michael Vick has yet to be sacked by a defensive lineman. All the sacks on him coming from linebackers and guys in the secondary.
Yeah, that is amazing. Since he's gone down a number of times and has been contacted about every 3rd time he goes back to pass. Now it's a handoff to Henry Hynoski, the fullback, who takes it up to the 16-yard line.
Eli's not happy. He feels like Trent Cole got him a little bit late on that one. This is going to turn into a very chippy game very soon. And Trent, if you know him at all, he's just laughing. This guy's a hunter. Some of his hunting stories I wouldn't feel comfortable repeating in mixed company, and right now he's hunting Eli.
Oh, go ahead. 2nd and 6. And Eli throws, and that's caught short of a first down. Victor Cruz at the 21. Dominic Rogers-Cromartie making the stop. 3rd and 1 upcoming.
Well, if you're going to beat the Eagles, you're going to have to beat their bump and run coverage on the outside, and it is going to be a tough task tonight because the Giants don't have their best bump and run player, Akeem Nicks, who's out with those injuries.
Almost 10 minutes into the game and no score. 3rd and a short 2. And timeout is taken by the Philadelphia Eagles. 5:03 left in the quarter. No score on Sunday Night Football. Eli Manning in the league since 04 knows this team very well. Only Phil Simms and Charlie Connolly, as Giant quarterbacks in the past, have made more starts against their rivals. 10 consecutive games. That's 5 years, 2 games each with a touchdown pass. But he gets sacked a lot, and that would figure against an Eagle defense that through the years has been pretty terrific. Going back to the Jim Johnson, the late Jim Johnson as the defensive coordinator days. 3rd down, short 2 from the 21-yard line. And Manning throws. It's a low throw, and the flag is down. Ruben Randall, the intended receiver. Nate Allen with the coverage. Flag thrown in the secondary. Randall, a rookie out of LSU, picked in the 2nd round.
I think with the big boy referees back, we're seeing a few more calls in this bump and run situation than we used to in the first
number
3.
23. 5-yard penalty and a first down.
That is the automatic first. Rogers-Cromartie.
It's going to take a little while for Dominic Rogers-Cromartie to get used to the fact that what was okay maybe a week ago, they're seeing a little bit more closely now. And for the Eagles defensively, they had the perfect call on there. They doubled Cruz, forced a bad throw, and still gave up the first down.
Play action. Manning slides to his left, deep downfield, and incomplete. That's Bennett going all the way down the field, the tight end, covered by Allen. 2nd down.
Well, one of the things that the Giants have to do against the likes of Darryl Tapp out here on the outside is chip with that back. There you saw the fullback as he's going out in the pattern, take a good shot on him. They're going to try and attack these guys a little bit. They're not just going to sit back and take it.
Look at those numbers. Eli, when he uses play action over his career against the Eagles, 10 touchdowns, no picks. To the outside he goes, and that is caught by Hickson. Nice grab to the outside. Makes the catch, picks up the first down. Somewhat making the coverage on the play, but unable to stop it from getting into the hands of Hickson for a gain of 11.
And Tom Coughlin's going to like that, because look at the shot Dominic Hickson took, and yet they still got this back shoulder in there. That's what Nix does best, those fades, those back shoulder fades. And without him in there, they were concerned against the bump and run. Could they still run that play? That was big.
From the 37-yard line on the ground, Bradshaw for a gain of 8.
Bradshaw might be running a little harder this week after watching Andre Brown last week, huh?
Yeah, no question about that. Brown starts the year as the number 3 back and then looked great against Carolina, and Bradshaw comes back after the sprained neck. Hard running tonight.
That was some story, old Andre Brown. He's bounced around all over the place and got his shot, and he looked like he was just mad at the world running the ball against Carolina, but it was huge for the Giants.
Only been released 8 times in 4 years, but hung in there. And hanging in there as Bradshaw gets taken down. Jenkins, Cullen Jenkins, came over as a free agent last year from Green Bay for a loss of 5.
Well, Kevin Booth, no match that time for Cullen Jenkins, as he's going to come over right here. Just takes the inside move, runs past the fullback, and Bradshaw now got a 4-yard loss. Pretty good acquisition right there for the Philadelphia Eagles. Had a good year in Green Bay. They pick him up, and that's all they need around here, one more pass rusher.
One of the 9 guys that rotate in. Giants with a bunch formation to the right. 3rd down and 7. Eli has time into double coverage. That pass is almost intercepted. Intended for Hickson. You had Asamoah and Nate Allen both covering on the play. It'll be 4th down.
Well, Nnamdi Asamoah is going to force Hickson inside. And the key to that is that Nate Allen now doesn't have as far to run to get over from the safety position. That's one he easily could have had, but give Asamoah some credit for giving his safety a chance. Hickson kind of pulled that thing out of there at the last second.
Weatherford to kick. Johnson, this time he's going to let it go. He's been fielding too many punts inside the 10. He's already fielded 1 tonight. That time he lets it go. They'll start from the 20, and we go to Michelle.
Al, you mentioned how the Giants came into this game with a banged-up defensive backfield. Well, add Kenny Phillips to the mix, at least for the time being. He's back getting x-rays on his right knee, and they tell me right now he is doubtful.
All right, thank you, Michelle. So Phillips is out, which means we're going to see Stevie Brown. Will Hill will probably come in the nickel. Antrell Roll, the other safety, ran into a camera in the game at Carolina 10 days ago, and he had a contusion and a bruise, so he was a little questionable coming into the game tonight. Missed some practice time, but he's in the lineup.
And Corey Webster has the cast on.
Apart from that, not a problem. And Vic hit as he throws at his feet with Stevie Brown blitzing on the play, helping Michael to his feet. 2nd down.
It's a good move that time by Stevie Brown. Got right around LaShawn McCoy, going to come on the blitz right in here. And it's one thing that a lot of times you do, if you've got an inexperienced player, the easiest thing to do is to blitz them. You know, sometimes you mess up the coverages, but you just tell them to go get Mike Vick, and he can do that.
2nd and 10. And a 4-man rush. Vick hit as he throws. The pass is low and incomplete. Short hop by Jackson, pleading for the catch. Won't get it. But again, Vick under pressure that time, and it was Justin Tuck coming in.
Todd Harriman's having a tough time with Justin Tuck and all these defensive ends right here. going to get the inside release and hit Mike Vick just as he throws the ball. And you can say anything you want about Michael Vick and his turnovers, but as a quarterback, when you're getting hit at the highest rate of any quarterback in the NFL, it's going to have an impact.
And Vick only 6 feet and 215 pounds. And we've got a challenge here.
Thinks he made the catch.
Yeah, well, Jackson pleaded his case, and so Andy Reid will take a look at this. And we'll take a look as well. Got his hand under it. Ball did hit the ground. Does he control it? Well, he's got it at the end, but it looked like it came. It looked like it might have short hopped the turf.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. Philadelphia has challenged that ruling.
You know, it'd have to hit all hand and not a speck of dirt.
Right.
For that to be complete. It did bounce up, and I think he caught it cleanly after it bounced up, but did it hit any turf? And remember, it was called incomplete.
Right. Looked like a short hop.
You know, it's entirely possible that Sean Jackson is right, and he could still not be given the completion.
Well, he's got his wrist, his right wrist is underneath it. The question is, will they see the ball hitting the turf before he controls it? And it would be, if they win the challenge, a first down. Otherwise, it's going to be 3rd down and 10.
Oh boy.
I think the ruling is going to stand. Is my guess.
Yeah, I mean, you know what they keep telling us is you need definitive proof to change a call, but who knows?
Well, that's one of those things where, you know, it's the call on the field. Do you see enough to overturn it? If you call it the other way, can you overturn it that way?
Well, we've really had, one big play in the game so far to Deshaun Jackson, the long pass. And other than that, it has been a game dominated by defenses out here.
Of course, the crowd sees the same replays you're seeing. But they're also seeing them with their hearts.
You know, if I had to swear in a court of law, I'd say that was a catch, but can you overturn it?
What court is that? The appeals court?
The Supreme Court right there.
Traffic court?
We have the real refs back. We're going all the way up here. Well, that Deshaun Jackson something, isn't he? Big plays. This entire team comes up with so many big plays. Since 2010, 180 plays of over 20 yards. That's most in the NFL. The Chargers second on that list. So typically in this game between these two very talented defensive teams, it's big plays that decide those games. Certainly Jackson's had it more than his fair share of big plays against the Giants.
And I think they're going to overturn this as Ron Winter's going to come back out. The way the crowd is responding, they can sense it.
After review, the receiver had his hands under the ball and maintained possession, completing the catch. Ball replaced at the 31-yard line. First down. Philadelphia is not charged with a timeout.
You're acquitted.
Put your hand on the Bible, you take a chance, don't you? Well, look at how the Philadelphia Eagles are aligning now. They are a team that understands they are challenged up front now, with Demetrius Bell playing left tackle, with Dallas Reynolds playing center. They are going to bring people in and help in protection, and that is a lot of people inside right there.
1st and 10 from the 31-yard line. Look out. Vick gets away. Scrambling. Being chased. And then Michael is able to turn. It would have been a sack into a gain as Jason Pierre-Paul was the first guy to get in there. It'll be Second down and 7 after a gain of 3.
Well, they had a chip position, but they didn't do it. And JPP is just going to beat Demetrius Bell immediately, and somehow Vick escapes that and gets outside. One of the issues they've had with Mike Vick lately is that when he makes these kind of Houdini escapes, is he's not keeping his eyes down the field, something they want him to really focus on to try and complete some big plays.
Second and 7. Playing an inside give. 39-yard line he goes. Bernard makes the stop. Of course, everybody worries about Vick and can he last and can he play a whole season, because he's only 6 feet and 215. Sacked or contacted over a third of the time on his dropbacks, and that's the most in the National Football League in terms of percentage. So they get to him. If you don't sack him, you're still getting to him, you're contacting him, and you're knocking him down. And it takes its toll, obviously. 3rd and 2. And that is caught by Selleck in a lot of traffic, and he spins his way to a first down at the New York 44-yard line. Brett Selleck, game 17.
Boy, this was zipped right in between two defenders. Strong arm throw between Blackburn and Boley. I thought this was going to be picked, and they both missed it. And Selleck, who has come up with a number of big plays this season, gets yet another one.
This runs a stop over the middle, and he's also averaging more than 18 yards per catch, which is gigantic for a tight end. The ball is at the 44-yard line. With 40 ticks to go in the quarter. And here's the rookie Brown moving to the 43-yard line. Umanura making the tackle.
This Bryce Brown's an interesting story, a 7th rounder. He was one of the top recruits coming out of high school, he and Trent Richardson, but Brown went to Tennessee and then decided he was going to leave there and go play with his brother in college, and then broke his leg, and things just didn't work out. But the Eagles knew exactly who he was from his high school days, and they end up drafting him in the 7th round, and they love him.
That is the end of a scoreless first quarter in Philadelphia. And NBC's Sunday Night Football continues after these messages. With that great-looking shot of downtown Philadelphia, tonight's aerial coverage brought to you by Geico. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Week 4, Sunday Night Football, scoreless first quarter. And we start with a 2nd and 10 for the Eagles from their own 36-yard line. And they give the ball to Damaris Johnson, the rookie out of Tulsa, who's been running back kicks, and that goes nowhere. Michael Boley makes the tackle, loss of 1. 3rd and 11.
Backs aren't going anywhere, period, in this game so far. Bradshaw has 3 rushes for 8 yards. McCoy has 3 rushes for 4 yards. And really the only offense thus far has been the left arm of Mike Vick.
The Eagles 7 rushing plays for 5 yards. Less than a yard per tote. 3rd and 11. Play fake, but look out on the blitz. He gets it away, and the pass intended for Jackson is incomplete. Will Hill came storming through, playing the nickel, and down goes Vick again, 4th down.
Now, Will Hill is going to come off the edge right here, but also watch the safety in the middle of the field. Stevie Brown really should have had this ball. To see one floating down the middle, you just wonder. Kenny Phillips, I think, might have had an interception on that one.
McBriar to punt. This will be the 6th punt in the game. 3 for each team. Ruben Randall sets up at the Giants' 8-yard line.
That was close.
Yes, very. Fair caught. The 12-yard line, and we check in with Michelle.
Al, you've been talking about those big hits that Mike Vick has been taking. He took a big one to the rib, suffered a rib contusion 2nd week of the preseason, and that kept him out of the rest of the preseason. So he turned to this Kevlar vest. You can see it's really fitted. He's wearing it tonight. He's been wearing it since the start of the regular season. It's got these thin Kevlar composite pads in them that really disperse the impact of a hit. Now, this was originally made for the military. The technology was only made declassified a couple years ago. He says it's working great for him so far.
All right, thank you, Michelle, and he's going to need it. 6 hits and 4 knockdowns already in the game as Bradshaw picks up a couple up to the 15-yard line. You've worked with a lot of quarterbacks through the years, Chris. What's if there's a consensus about wearing a vest, what would it be?
They'll do anything they can to stay pretty. The ones I was around, I mean, it's tough though. It does make a difference. It is, another layer to think about. But you're so exposed, and if you get those ribs hurt, it is awfully tough to throw the football after that.
And Vic knows that all too well. It's 2nd down and 8 for the Giants from the 15-yard line with Cruz going in motion. They fake the end around. They set up a screen, and this is Bradshaw out to the 35-yard line. On a 2nd down and 8, not in behind the center boss. That's a gain of 20.
Well, that time they end up doing a great job in man coverage. I think it's going to be right there. D'Amico Ryans is going to have man coverage on Bradshaw, but they get David Moss out in front of it on the screen. If you can block the guy covering the back on a screen, obviously you're going to get a big play.
95 out of 12 now for 55 yards. Take to Bradshaw. Eli hanging in, going deep downfield and throws it behind Hickson, and there's another flag on the play. Back behind Manning. Ron Winter. Pretty busy night so far.
Holding. Offense number 75. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
Sean Locklear.
Well, so far, there hasn't been a tackle in the game that's been able to block anybody that they've been blocking against. We've seen a lot of holding. Every time it seems like one of these offenses get it going just a little bit, you get that. That's Philip Hunt he's working against, who led the CFL in sacks with 16 a couple of years ago.
Back to the 25. Now Andre Brown is the running back. Here goes Brown. Not very far, the 27. We talked to him last night. Here's a guy who gets drafted by the Giants a few years ago, goes everywhere. He's cut, released, waived 8 times. And we talked to him last night. Did you ever get down to the point you're going to retire? And he said, retire? I didn't do anything to retire from. There it is, 4th round pick by the Giants, waived. Giants, Broncos, Colts, Panthers, and Redskins, with the Giants waiving him twice. And then he had a breakout game against the Panthers, which was a big night for him because he was going home and away playing at North Carolina State. 2nd and 17. And that's overthrown. Stopping was Ruben Randall. And it's 3rd down and 17.
Well, Ruben Randall, they're going to try and give him a chance tonight. He's out there against Nnamdi Asomugha. They're just trying to find somebody that can win some one-on-one battles on the outside. Randall's work ethic has been questioned a bit with the Giants. They're hoping that he grows up as he goes along and starts becoming a bit more of a pro.
3rd and 17. Throw it underneath, and Hickson makes the catch and takes it up to the 41, and another penalty. For the moment, that would have been a 13-yard gain.
Yeah, Babin knocked Locklear's helmet off, I think. Somebody's helmet came off.
It was 3rd and 17 before the play.
Yeah, you didn't pick up the first down, but the penalty should give you the first down.
Illegal contact or whatever it's going to be. Defensive foul, apart from encroachment, is an automatic first.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Defense. 5-yard penalty. An automatic first down.
You bet. There it is, 5 yards, but a first down off a 3rd and 17.
Right out here. Watch him get right up underneath and take his helmet off.
Yep.
Locklear said, I hope you saw that. He thought he was still dealing with the replacement guys. On the outside, Nnamdi Asomugha taking Ramses Barden and saying, hey, you got 138 yards last week against Carolina, not this week. Asamoah coming out. Don't know if he's got a contact lens problem or something going on.
So Asamoah is out. Brandon Hughes comes in to take his spot. Lines up against Barden on 1st and 10 from the 33-yard line. And Eli, after looking that way, goes over the middle, hits Victor Cruz, and Victor Cruz out to the 44-yard line. You know, Cruz's story comes out of nowhere last year. Didn't do very much the first 2 weeks, and then has that huge game here. 3 catches, 2 touchdowns, winds up leading the Giants in receiving yards, sets a Giants record. 5 long touchdown catches, and owns a Super Bowl ring. Victor Cruz.
And it started right here, right? Against Nnamdi Asamoah. They beat their big free agent signing that made all the money, and some guy named Victor Cruz came in and scored 2 touchdowns against them. At the end of the year, everybody knew who he was.
From the 44, here's Bradshaw. Taken down after a gain of 2. And that big Cruz day, that's the only time the Giants have beaten the Eagles in their last 8 meetings, counting a postseason game. So the Eagles, counting that playoff win, have won 7 of 8. Juan Castillo on the left, the defensive coordinator, and that was the subject of a lot of controversy here in Philadelphia last year because he'd been the offensive line coach. And then when Sean McDermott left after Jim Johnson had died, the defensive coordinator for years, Andy stuck with him. Castillo took a lot of heat last year, but that defense came on at the end of the year. 2nd and 7, and Andre Brown takes the ball to the 49.
You know, for Juan Castillo, it was a very slow start. They're giving up 23 points a game, but in fairness, there was no offseason, and they were trying to install this new defense, this wide 9 stuff, and they were getting gouged on the running game and all that. And then over the last 7 games, they've been giving up 16 points a game. So a major improvement as they've had time to put this defense in.
Reed sticking with them when almost everybody in town wanted him out of there. 3rd and 3 from the 49. And Manning throws, and it's broken up. Dominic Hickson, the intended receiver, and Brandon Hughes got back there, came in when Asamoah went to the bench, 4th-year man out of Oregon State, played with the Giants back in
Big play
10.
by Brandon Hughes, number 27 right there. This is a tough route against inside man coverage. He broke on the ball and made a big play to get his defense off the field. They're looking for somebody. Dominic Hickson is the guy that I think is going to have to make plays in this game for the Giants to win.
Hickson 1 catch so far tonight for 11 yards. Weatherford's punt. And this time it bounces into the end zone. With Johnson letting it go. 9:13 left in the half. No score in Philadelphia. So this, of course, is the city of brotherly love. And then you've got McCoy of Philadelphia, Hugh Manura of the Giants engaged over the last year or so in a Twitter war of sorts. McCoy calling Hugh Manura a ballerina. Hugh Manura texted him a happy Mother's Day greeting last May. The 2 of them, I think, auditioning for a lounge act in Atlantic City.
Did you ever think you'd be talking about Twitter on Sunday Night Football?
Absolutely not.
You're a big Twitter guy, though.
No, I'm absolutely not. Costas and I,
There they go, right on cue.
Yeah, there you go.
I'm surprised Osi didn't have a little comment for him.
Osi told Bob Costas in the pregame interview, he said, hey, look, you know what? I actually took the low road here.
Osi here is going to take an inside spin move, but felt the draw and just grabs McCoy on the way by and gives him a little tweet.
2nd and 10 from the 20. And McCoy, and Tuck is there, and he tries to get away from him, and the 3 white shirts chase him out of bounds.
I tell you, as he usually is, Jason Pierre-Paul is kind of all over the place here. We asked Mike Vick exactly who's out here. You know, he said, what are your reads when you come to the line of scrimmage? What are you looking for? And he said, Jason Pierre-Paul and Jason Pierre-Paul. I mean, he's the guy over there. 16 and a half sacks a season ago, and really had a huge breakout season along with Victor Cruz.
And then you look for the middle linebacker and point to him. In this case, it's number 90. And here's Vic, who's going to run a draw. And Vic takes it to the 29, a little short of the first down. Prior to that, the Eagles had run the ball 8 times for 2 yards. It's been a subject in Philadelphia all of these years with Andy Reid, prone to pass a lot. The crowd wants it more balanced, and well, they're getting a little balanced tonight, but not effective.
Balanced with a lot of punts going both directions, and so far the drama has been Will Hill, and is he hitting the punter or not? He came really close last time, number 31, and barely missed a block on the one before that.
8th punt of the night, 4th for McBriar. Here they come. McBriar gets it away. Fielded to 21 by the rookie Randall. And a decent run back for Randall out to the 33-yard line halfway through the second quarter. Osi, looking at the crowd before the game, told them he was going to get 4 sacks tonight. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Internet Explorer. Welcome to a more beautiful web. By Frostbrewed Coors Light, the world's most refreshing beer. By Nissan, innovation for today, innovation for tomorrow, innovation that excites. And by Bank of America. D'Alessandro Steaks in Philadelphia. And serving them up since 1961.
Yes, they are that good. If you've never been to Philadelphia, they are that good.
I'll take a big juicy New York, though, if you don't mind. From the 33, here's Bradshaw. To the 35-yard line.
One of the things we talked about right from the beginning, the bump and run of these Eagles cornerbacks on the outside. Here's Nnamdi Asomugha is going to get a shot, maybe a little hold, all that stuff. Watch this jam on Hickson. Go up and attack him at the line of scrimmage. Got that one completed. Ramses Barton got a little taste of it. You know what was interesting was that this team had some great corners last year. And Nnamdi Asomugha, Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, and Asante Samuel, but none of them could play in the slot. It's like Nnamdi was getting a little attention over there. It ended up hurting them. Then they eventually let Asante Samuel get out of here.
2nd and 8 to the outside to Brown, and Andre gets spilled at the 39-yard line. Sneak a little slow in getting up. It'll be 3rd down and 4. And so look at Asomugha, who was the big free agent signee when the lockout ended last year, came over after several years with the Raiders.
I've had that one before. You just get poked with a finger in the eye, and you can't play the game because you can't see half the field.
3rd and 4.
Got this little walk around going.
Yep. Giants go 3-by-1 to the left side, and Manning under pressure needs to throw it into the bench because DeMeco Ryans, their big signee in the offseason, several years with the Houston Texans, put the heat on.
Well, you just make mistakes is all you do. Now you're going to get the pressure up here, and nobody's going to block DeMeco Ryans. As you get guys walking around like that, usually offensive linemen say, all right, here's the 4 defensive linemen, and we've got the Mike backer. Well, when you're walking around, nobody knows who's a defensive lineman, who's a Mike backer, and who's somebody that you have to throw hot at.
Ryans officially coming over in a trade with Houston, and that is a punt by Weatherford that is a short kick and goes out of bounds at the 30-yard line. Castillo happy with his troops. He should be. For coverage of every NFL game, 24/7 NFL access and more, call ** NFL to download NFL mobile or go to NFL.com/mobile. City Hall, Philadelphia, pressure tonight. Despite no sacks, both quarterbacks have been under a lot of pressure, a lot of heat. There have been 9 drives between the two teams in this game. Every one of them has ended with a punt, and this is the best starting field position for Philadelphia, the 30-yard line. Vic short drop and then has it knocked down at the line of scrimmage. Giants very proficient At that, it'll be 2nd down and 10.
Mike Vick has had a history of having balls knocked down at the line of scrimmage against him. And the Giants, as we well know, do a great job of getting their hands up. I can remember it's getting ready for the Super Bowl, and Tom Brady, they used like paddles that they stuck up in the air because they did it so well, and it drove Brady nuts in practice. But that's how efficient they are knocking balls down.
Chase Blackburn going to handle it. Vick throws over the middle, and that is caught by McCoy, who tries to spin away. He's about 4 yards shy of the first down. Umenyiora making the tackle. Under 6 minutes to go to halftime.
Stanley Havili, the fullback, watch what he does right here to Jason Pierre-Paul this time. Tried to take that inside move, and really said, we won't be doing that.
No huddle for the Eagles here. Tuck just got off the field.
Pressure again.
Oh, yeah. Umenyiora came across the line. So it's 3rd down and 4. If it's against the Giants, it is a first down. It is.
Encroachment elevated to the quarterback. Defense number 72. 5-yard penalty. Results in a first down.
That was such a good hard count by Michael Vick on that one. 3rd and 4 defensively. You got to be aware of what the down and distance is. There he comes. And for when you have a young center in there like Dallas Reynolds to be able to hold on and make a play, that's pretty strong.
Play action. That buys time for Vick, and then he slings it over the middle. Incomplete. Intended for Jackson. Good coverage. 2nd and 10.
Boy, that was not a good throw at all. That was one, if he leads that out over the top a little bit, you might have a 60-yard play or a touchdown with the way these guys run. I think that's Deshaun Jackson going across there. And, I mean, that's a one-hopper 5 yards away.
2nd and 10. Hit to the outside. And this time he hits Johnson. That's Damaris Johnson, a rookie from Tulsa, for a first down. Tackled by Amuk Damara. Gain of 17 yards.
Yeah, one of the problems, you bring in some other guys. I think that's Stevie Brown out there playing basically cornerback position. And he's going to give them all kinds of room. But this guy is a punt returner extraordinaire. And that's Prince Amukamara out there giving him a lot of space. I think I'd take my chances coming up on him, not let him have those easy ones.
Morris Johnson with his first catch. Going on the outside. And takes it to the 30-yard line. So the Eagles finally get something going after starting with their best field position of the night.
And get pressure here, so the next coverage guy really is nowhere in sight. Good quick read that time by Michael Vick, and you get McCoy the ball in space, and very rarely does the first guy get him on the ground.
From their own 30 to the Giants' 30. And Vick throws, and that'll be caught at the 23-yard line. Jason Avant making his first catch of the night with 3:43 to go in the half.
You know, Andy Reid is a West Coast kind of coach, and we're seeing a little West Coast offense right now. Instead of trying to work the ball 40, 50 yards down the field and dealing with that pressure, he's hitting that back step and throwing it quickly, and there's Jason Avant going out.
He got hurt. Damaris Johnson has to come in. 2nd and 3. Keep it on the ground, and then McCoy loses his footing as he takes the handoff, and it will be 3rd and 4.
There are just so many guys where Sean McCoy wants to run. They tried to go a little trap or power, pulling the guard Danny Watkins around, but everything's being initiated in the backfield. Usually when you get your running game going, those blocks are happening a yard or two down the field.
McCoy 5 carries tonight for 0 net. Vick chased by Osi. Turns the corner very close to a first down. They're going to spot it just outside the 20-yard line. They have to get to the 20 to move the chains. And it's going to go right on the 20 now. And Ron Winter takes a look and signals move those chains. First down.
Now, O.C. Umenyiора's got to contain this. You've got one of the great running quarterbacks in the game. Yeah, you want to get your sacks, but you can't allow that outside release to happen. So for O.C., that's 2 big mistakes on this drive.
Gave him a nice spot. Ball at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10. McCoy swinging to the outside. Can he turn the corner? Yes, he can.
Make that 3. You know, you just can't figure out how fast these guys are, but O.C. Umenyiora got beat around the edge again.
It'll be 2nd down and 8. Spot the ball, wind the clock, and that is going to take us to the 2-minute warning. Wouldn't figure, but the numbers don't lie. 28 minutes into the game, not a single point on the scoreboard on Sunday Night Football. So the halftime show coming your way. Packers win, knock off the Saints in a wild one. The Niners go into the Meadowlands and demolish the Jets. Matt Ryan, great rally at the end. Bob Costas, Hines Ward. Look back at our first half here as you look at the Xfinity Center here in Philadelphia, and there's no score. 2nd and 8. Eagles with their best drive of the night in progress right now, and Vic throws, and it's a wobbly pass, and McCoy gets taken down by Stevie Brown on the outside.
If you're the Eagles brass, you'll take this matchup all day. LaShawn McCoy in the open field, but Bryce Brown made that one play.
Timeout. Over 29 million viewers have made Revolution a breakout hit. Tomorrow, the struggle for power continues on Revolution tomorrow night, 10 Eastern, 9 Central, right here on NBC. Downtown Philly and about 8 miles south in South Philly at Lincoln Financial Field. It's 3rd and 9 after the Giants took their first time out. And Vic stepping up in the pocket. Vic throwing for the end zone. Has a man open. It's Jackson. Touchdown. Roll and Webster in the neighborhood, but Jackson lost them. And the Eagles go 70 yards for the game's first score.
Tremendous job up front. That's the reason the play worked, and then Deshaun Jackson just turned Corey Webster inside out.
And for Jackson, it's his first touchdown reception of the season. Alex Henry for the point after. Points on the board for the first time tonight. The first drive of the game, the 10th drive of the game between the two teams, and the first that ends in anything but a punt.
Everybody up. They're going to bring people in every direction. They pick it up perfectly. Vic steps up in the pocket. And then it was no contest. Inside receiver here going against Corey Webster. Webster turns his head back looking for the ball. Deshaun Jackson goes the other way, and Antrell Roll, playing safety, just couldn't catch up. If you give Michael Vick that much time in one-on-one situations, Deshaun Jackson is borderline uncoverable.
Numbers in his career. Umenyiora.
A few mistakes on that drive kept it alive. For the Eagles, that's really breathing a sigh of relief. This is a team that only had 47 points coming in, and that's tied with the Dallas Cowboys for last in the NFL, despite having 416 yards a game. But those 12 turnovers made a difference. No turnovers so far tonight.
They struggled against Cleveland, but won. Looked okay offensively against Baltimore. Had no touchdowns last week, and they get on the board here tonight as the kick is taken at the goal line by the rookie Wilson. The number 1 draft choice, David Wilson, staying in bounds and giving the Giants great position with a flag thrown, however, back at the 22-yard line. And normally that's going to go against the receiving team. only about 96% of the time. Maybe 97.
And that is
During the return, holding offense number 52. 10-yard penalty, first down.
Yeah, I think Spencer Paysinger grabbed a jersey. And you can get away with a lot of holding in this league, but when they see that jersey being pulled away, that's too easy for them.
It's the evidence they're looking for.
Right there. Can't miss it. Yep. Grab the shoulder pad. I don't think it had anything to do with the play at all. Wilson's already gone. I would save my biggest fines for holding on kick returns.
From the 13-yard line. Giants with 2 timeouts. Going deep and falling down. And does he make the catch? Yes. Dominic Hickson going to the ground, looking back over his helmet, the top of his helmet, 32 yards and a big first down.
Veteran play by Hickson that time as he's going to hold off Dominic Rodgers-Cromartie, not push off, hold off, and timed it beautifully.
From the 45, Manning buying time, throws near side, caught, inbounds, 48-yard line. It's Hickson again. Let's check in with Michelle.
Well, Nnamdi Asomugha not on the field, back in the locker room getting that right eye reevaluated. You saw him on the sideline getting drops, getting it looked at, getting his vision tested. Still not on the field, Al.
All right, thank you, Michelle. And that means we've been seeing a lot of Brandon Hughes in his spot. That last play, good for 7. It's second down and 3. Eli outstanding last year. Last 2 minutes of a half, and certainly the second half in particular. Second and 3. And Manning buying time, and it's caught at the 39-yard line. It's Hickson against it. That's 3 straight plays going to number 87. And with 59 seconds left, the Giants are going to take a timeout.
Giants are now providing a little help on the outside against Babin out here. You see Bradshaw is going to sit out there and help Sean Locklear. And then watch at the top of your screen here as Hickson comes back hard to the ball against man-to-man coverage. If he didn't do that, would have never gotten the ball. And Eli kind of threw this over the top of 2 jumping linebackers and still had confidence enough in Hickson to come back and get that one. Hickson has provided the receiving threat that they desperately needed in this one.
Especially with Nix out. Hickson missed last week's game with a concussion, so he's back tonight. 4 catches equaling his total for the season to this point. 59 seconds left. Giants with 1 timeout. First down. And Manning looking for Cruz. And Cruz is out of bounds. Incomplete. Boykin, the rookie out of Georgia, covering on the play. Second down.
Give Brandon Boykin some credit. They've been setting this play up all night. This little stop and then go again, thinking they could take advantage of the rookie, but he doesn't bite. They had run that little stop route about 3 or 4 times, but give Boykin some credit. He did not take the bait.
Do it again here with Cruz in the slot to the right. Hickson outside and Barton to the top of the screen. Second and 10. Good protection up front. And then the pass is hauled in at the 25-yard line. Victor Cruz just before going out of bounds. Victor Cruz making the catch.
I'll tell you, Victor Cruz can catch. Look at this. Lock it in 2 feet down. That's beautiful. But what's happening, Al, is they're leaving 2 safeties back and try and help against anything deep down the field. And they're going these 3-by-1 sets on the outside. So as long as they have 2 safeties in the middle of the field, they don't have enough on the wide side, this 3-receiver side up here, so they'll keep working that. Looks like maybe a little adjustment here as they bring pressure.
Double slot to the left First and 10 to the left side. He goes, and that's Cruz making the catch, and he gets taken down at the 14 by Boykin. Stayed inbounds. Clock keeps ticking. The Giants with one timeout.
Well, that time there was no safety over the top, and it was just a one-on-one read. And as long as Victor Cruz gets the rookie Boykin one-on-one, they'll never go anywhere else.
From the 13-yard line. And throws caught at the 9. That's Cruz, and the Giants will take their final timeout right here with 19 seconds.
Final team timeout.
There's Cruz working against Boykin down the field. Boykin's got the toughest of all assignments. Of course, Larry Fitzgerald a week ago had a tough time there. And because Martellus Bennett with a little chip on the outside gives Eli just enough time. The theory with the bump and run is that with the way the Eagles can rush the passer, you're not going to have time to make those deep throws down the field. And so far, that's certainly been true.
And they're keeping Bennett in for that extra protection. He's the guy who has scored a touchdown in each of his first 3 games as a Giant.
And that bunch formation to the right is protection-oriented now.
And then the pass is caught on the outside, and oh, baby, Bennett just does get out of bounds. That was the key right there with Allen covering on the play. Now you have 13 seconds.
Play of the game so far, because I don't think there's any way in the world they're getting lined up and spiking that football with 13 seconds. There was a tremendous block in the backfield. I didn't see who the back was. We'll see Bennett tail into this thing. If he doesn't get out of bounds, they may end up a goose egg at halftime.
Well, it's 3rd down and 4. Might as well be 3rd and goal because they don't have a timeout, and you don't want this play to end because you can't spike it without getting into the end zone. It will be 4th down, and Manning will throw in the throw for the end zone, and it's almost intercepted. Hickson was there to make sure that Brandon Hughes didn't get the pick, and the Giants will have to settle for a field goal attempt.
Well, I tell you what, I give Dominic Hickson a lot of credit for this play. This one looks like Hughes is going to make the play, and there was no question a little interference on the part of Dominic Hickson, and it was a good time for interference.
Hickson playing offense and defense on this drive, which started all the way back at the 13 and will end with Tynes' 25-yard field goal attempt. And Tynes' kick is good. Lawrence Tynes banging it through to give the Giants their first points of the night to make the score 7-3.
Well, we kind of go from no action to a lot of action out there.
We start the game by talking about there have been a lot of shootouts in this series, especially of late. Who knows what the second half will bring, but who would have figured no scoring through the first 28 minutes tonight, but that's what we got.
You know, but it is interesting that it's been a relatively conservative game so far. They're not taking huge chances. No one has turned the football over yet, and by doing that, they're both just still in the game, going back and forth. I've got to think, especially after the Eagles came up with a touchdown, getting anything on the board was huge for the New York Giants on that drive.
No question, and they went all the way down the field from their own 13-yard line. Quarterback comparison tonight. No sacks in the game, which is very surprising with these two defenses.
But you would have to say that the pressure has been a huge factor in the game.
No doubt.
The running games, though, almost non-existent to this point.
Tom Coughlin, a man who's been on the hot seat so many times. How many guys go from the hot seat to the Hall of Fame, which is where he'll probably wind up?
Pretty remarkable,
yeah, two
isn't it?
Super Bowl championships. Did a spectacular job with an embryonic franchise in Jacksonville when he took over when the Jaguars were born in '95 and took that team to the AFC Championship game in only its 2nd year. Now in his 9th season. Did a great show on him, A Football Life, put together by NFL Films, which I hope a lot of you saw. Seeing another side of Tom Coughlin. Boykin will run it back. And he'll take it to the 23-yard line, and that's going to take us to the Toyota halftime show. 7-3. Philly on top at the half. Toyota halftime show coming up on the other side of the break. rivalry as the New York Giants meet the Eagles on Sunday Night Football. Vic hit as he throws. He gets it away. And down goes Vic again. Bradshaw gets taken down. Colin Jenkins. Vic throwing for the end zone. Has a man open. It's Jackson. Touchdown. And the second half ready to begin in Philly, 7-3. Eagles on top. You can follow your favorite team all season long. Just go to itunes.com/NFL. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya, and our gang led by Fred Gaudelli and Drew Esikoff. Sunday Night Football, Week 4. Great rivalry that began back in 1933, and Manning will have to wait his chance here because the Eagles get the ball. Boykin is back to receive. Lawrence Tynes to kick off. On the 60-degree night, that's the temperature right about now. Had a little bit of rain, light rain early on, but clear skies now as Boykin takes it from 1 yard deep and brings it back to the 21-yard line.
Well, the Eagles finally put a touchdown on the board, and they did it with a little West Coast offense. Quicker throws, shorter throws underneath, don't allow the pressure to get there. And eventually, as the defense starts to come forward, you take your shot down the field. Great protection on this one. Just absolute perfection on the protection. Turns around Corey Webster, Deshaun Jackson for the touchdown.
1st and 10. They start with really the fullback in the game. And they give it to McCoy behind him. And there's just nothing happening on the ground here for Philly tonight as we go to Michelle.
Well, Michael Vick took some hits in that first half. Andy Reid told me at halftime that the protection they were able to give him on their scoring drive was key on that drive, as was the short passing game. You can expect to see more of that here in the second half. By the way, Al, Nnamdi Asomugha poked in the eye. We didn't see him at the end of the first half. He's been taken to the hospital for further evaluation.
Well, that's big news. As Hughes, he'll have to take his spot probably for the rest of the night. The ball is at the 20-yard line. And Vick will throw, and he has a first down here as the catch is made by Deshaun Jackson. Tackled by Jaquan Williams.
It's a nice job there, understanding with that motion that it was going to be a zone coverage. When Clay Harbor went in motion and none of the linebackers moved, he understood there was going to be a gaping hole inside. Again, a quick throw, and again, back to that strategy.
Bryce Brown is the running back here. Now you got action up front. Pierre Paul and Demetrius Bell. And it's Pierre Paul who's going to cost them 5 yards.
Impression. Defense number 90. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Jason Pierre Paul, a guy who was picked number 1. Jerry Reese has done a pretty masterful job as the general manager. Picked first in the 2010 draft out of South Florida, and right now, if there's a better defensive lineman in the league, call us collect. 1st and 5. Here's McCoy setting up a second down and 1. There were a lot of great defensive linemen in the league, but I mean, if you had a choice right now who to pick, and again, age would be a consideration.
Sure.
Name somebody else.
You know, I think he is the best right now. DeMarcus Ware maybe down there with the Cowboys, and there's some other good ones. Boy, he's got a little blood coming out of that mouth now too. So the Philadelphia Eagles, with all their chips and slams and whams and all the attention they're paying him, got a little blood drawn.
2nd and 1. And room this time. McCoy finally springs one. Stays inbounds, goes all the way down to the 23-yard line. Havili, the fullback, helping to pave the way. 34 yards.
Stanley Havili, the key block on this one, is going to get the kick out here. Block down with everybody else, get up on the linebacker, and there's the alley that they've been waiting to see. You know, once again, you see it 1,000 times over. Running games do nothing in the first half. And the more the defense wears down, the more effective it is.
McCoy had gained 6 net yards until that 34-yard run. Now to the outside, he'll do it again. Cuts back inside. That's a replay to the 1. Tackled by Kiwanuka. And again, Havili. It's like they run the same play with almost the same result, 22 yards.
But the one thing they've been able to do is get outside the defensive ends. Justin Tuck here on the edge. The fullback, Havili, doesn't even bother with him. Is going down the field. So they're getting now that inside-outside on the edge of the Giants defense, and it has been really effective.
And it can only look on as the Eagles on the opening drive of the second half of a 1st and goal. And this time he gets about half the distance, does McCoy. At the half-yard line, it'll be 2nd down and goal.
Well, probably would have had that one too, but Rocky Bernard ran that thing down from behind.
Howard Mudd, you know, if you call Central Casting and say, send me an offensive line coach, there's your star right there. That is an offensive line coach.
Pretty good player in his day, too.
Oh, yeah. Very good for the 49ers. Longtime Indianapolis assistant under Tony Dungy to the outside now. And the Giants are stuffing them, so they try McCoy again, working the right side, and that's going to set up a 3rd down and goal. Blackburn and Bernard deny him.
Yeah, pretty good job by Jaquan Williams that time on the outside, setting the edge and forcing it back into Justin Tuck. They have run the same play now 4 straight times. Be interesting to see if they test that water again. They thought they found something, 2 big runs in a row, but the Giants have adjusted. Might be time for a bootleg from Vic.
On 3rd and goal. Instead, you got McCoy going to the left side this time. Can he turn the corner? He cannot. And the Giants with Michael Boley going with him step for step to the outside. Make sure he doesn't get in. And it's 4th down. And the Eagles send in the field goal group.
Really nice job by Boley. He doesn't make the tackle, but he strings it out just long enough for Antrell Roll to get there and knock McCoy out of bounds. Boy, what a turnaround that was. After bang, bang, a couple of huge runs, puts it on the 1. And for the Giants to hold, that could be a momentum shifter despite giving up points.
Speaking of a hold, here's your new holder, McBriar now. His first game with the Eagles. He's going to hold for Alex Henry. At least he has his regular snapper, John Dornbos, in the game, who was listed on the injury report this week, but he's able to snap it. This is a 20-yard field goal attempt. And the kick inside the left upright is good. So they have the ball for 5 minutes, 5 seconds, get 3, and lead by 7. Time one of the most popular Eagles ever had his number retired, Brian Dawkins.
I'd like to thank all of you fans for allowing me to be me, to act a fool when I wanted to lose my mind when I wanted to.
Well, he goes into the Eagle Hall of Fame, and it might not be the last Hall of Fame that he goes into.
I agree with you. 37 interceptions, 26 sacks, pretty unique club of people that have done that.
He'll be making that speech in Canton in 4 years. David Wilson to run it back, and Wilson, this time with no flags down, had an earlier run back negated with a penalty tackled by Matthews, gives the Giants position at the 44 for Eli and company.
Well, Brandon Hughes in for Nnamdi Asomugha now, and it was Asomugha who got poked in the eye by Ramses Barden. Doesn't look like much, but you can see the reaction by Nnamdi, and he is off to the hospital now.
So each team minus a big guy in the secondary. Asomugha for Philadelphia. Kenny Phillips, the Giants' strong safety, got hurt in the first quarter, so he's out. And now the Giants have the ball for the first time in the half from the 43-yard line. Pass is caught by Ramses Barden, who had a big night in Carolina 10 days ago. There's Asomugha back on the sideline.
Oh, good. That's great. He's boy, have they been aggressive. I can't remember them playing like this. You know, Asante Samuel was here last year, and he didn't want to play bump and run, so they let him play off, so they couldn't get the kind of pressure on the wideouts to play the kind of pass rush that they wanted to play, and they fixed it.
Bradshaw takes the toss, crosses the 50, very close to a first down for Ahmad Bradshaw.
Well, you've seen this wide 9 before, but Trent Cole down in that sort of samurai stance coming after anything that looks like a quarterback in the backfield. But if you can get him flying inside and get outside of him, then it works. You know, they have a saying around here, rush, crush, and close is what these two outside guys are supposed to do, and they are coming every play.
Draw. Big hole through the middle, and Bradshaw gets 9 through that wide 9, which in effect, to simplify it, the two ends play very far outside.
That's side, you end up with a big run. That time Coleman simply couldn't get there. But now that they get the running game going, now you have the possibility of some play action. Coleman is a little snippy. He'll get around that line of scrimmage and try to make some plays.
2nd and 1. And over left guard goes Bradshaw before he gets tackled at the 35-yard line. First down.
You know, that's what happened last week. Larry Fitzgerald, a little play fake up the middle, and Coleman hesitated, came up a step to try and go play the run. They hit a long one for a touchdown over the top. But in order to get those kind of plays against this Eagles defense, because they are so dependent on safeties helping against the run, you have to establish something running the football.
On the 34. And Hickson, back shoulder again. Hickson came into the game tonight. In the 2 games he had played for the Giants, missing 1, he had 4 total catches, and tonight he has 5.
Well, they're going to end up bringing some pressure right up the middle here, but Eli got him into an audible situation. He saw the single safety in the middle of the field, knew he just had one-on-one on the outside. And I tell you, Dominic Hickson may have found himself a role on this football team. They were concerned about this bump and run, but he's played well.
Andre Brown is the running back here. And a much traveled one to the 17. We talked about Brown and all the times he's been cut and everything. He said my stuff couldn't even keep up with me.
He got cut, what was it, 6, 7 times, something like that.
8.
He just could not find his stuff. But he does stay on the course of the play. Ahmad Bradshaw, if he has a weakness in my mind, he consistently wants to jump it outside and bounce it to where the play isn't really designed. The one thing you saw out of Andre Brown in that game last week, if the coach says run it between the guard and the tackle, that's where he's going.
Cruz in motion to the inside, and they give the ball to Brown, who spins his way inside the 15-yard line. That's going to set up a 3rd and short with 6 minutes to go in the quarter.
You know, he got injured his rookie year, Brown did, and then all of a sudden, here we go. He's going to bounce around and not get as many opportunities. Is that him?
Yeah.
Here we go again.
Limping off. He had an Achilles in his rookie year with the Giants. It's 3rd down, short 3 from the 14-yard line. Bradshaw back in. Manning in the gun.
Cruz is going to get one-on-one.
Over the middle, and he gets Cruz. Touchdown. And his breakout game here last year does his dance, and the Giants are a point away from tying the game.
Here we go. This is the matchup we've been watching, and anytime they walk that second safety down, they're going to go to Victor Cruz because he knows he has the single coverage. That time they tried to run D'Amico Ryans, the linebacker, underneath him just in case there was a slant, but Eli weaved it in there somehow.
Times to try to tie the game. Rutherford puts it down. Wilson gave them good position with a run back to the 43, so they go 57 yards in 8 plays, 5.5 left in the quarter, and we're tied on Sunday Night Football. So the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame are undefeated, and they'll take on Miami. You'll see it in primetime Saturday night on NBC, and they'll play that game in the big city. They go into Chicago to play it at Soldier Field, Miami, Notre Dame, Saturday night here on NBC. Downtown Philadelphia on this Sunday night, heading to October at midnight. And Eli Manning had the ball for the first time in the half, led him all the way down to tie the game, and this kick will result in a touchback. 5:28 remaining. The third, 10-10 in Philadelphia. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by FIFA Soccer 13. Join the club. By Hyundai, new thinking, new possibilities. By SAP. SAP helps companies run like never before. By AT&T, the nation's largest 4G network. AT&T, rethink possible. High school football Friday night here in Philly. Archbishop Wood beating Cardinal O'Hara 38-14. And out of the link. 10th season here for the Philadelphia Eagles at the 20-yard line. Vick buys time. Look at that time for him in the pocket, and then the pass intended for Jackson hits Michael Boley in the back. Second down.
They got lucky with that one. Let's go back to the touchdown. You're going to see Brandon Boykin jump outside at D'Amico Ryans run underneath it when they show blitz. So they want Eli to believe he can throw the slant so they can pick it off with D'Amico Ryans, but D'Amico Ryans doesn't get there. I mean, that is exactly what they're trying to do defensively, get Eli to throw that pass so Ryans will pick it off. He just wasn't quick enough.
And Vick again buys time with a fake, and over the middle, that's Selleck, and the tight end to the 46-yard line. And as he always does, that emphatic first down signal, 27-yard gain.
Watch Chase Blackburn and Michael Boley come up here on this play, and because of the run fake and the success that the Eagles have been having against the run, they're able to get the tight end Selleck in behind them.
From the 47-yard line. It's the second Eagles possession of the half. Now McCoy will cut it back. And McCoy gets taken. That's a great tackle. And that's Jason Pierre-Paul playing the left defensive side, hanging right in there, making sure that McCoy couldn't cut around the corner.
Yeah, over here we've seen some loss contained, but Jason Pierre-Paul, instead of chasing all the way down the line of scrimmage, sits there and waits because he knows LaShawn McCoy, it doesn't matter where he stops, he can end up anywhere, and really just the athleticism, JPP saved that one.
2nd and 9, big story coming into the game. Eagle turnovers in the first 3 games. Tonight, 0. 2nd and 9. And then you're chasing Vick. Vick has room. First down, about 10 yards more for Michael Vick around the left side.
You know, you're just baiting a hook. Osi Umenyiora has got to know if nobody's blocking him, something's up. Here he comes. Everybody else blocks down. They're basically, this is like an outside draw. Like, come here, Osi, come on. Come on. I got a tweet for you. Bring it on in here, and then I'm gone. I mean, it's Mike Vick. You know, and LaShawn McCoy, they're fast. They're going to get around you.
4 rushes for Vick tonight for 37 yards. From the 34. Here's McCoy. Going nowhere. That's Stevie Brown playing in place of the injured Kenny Phillips, stopping him for no gain.
I like Stevie Brown a little bit, especially playing the run. He has a tendency to not sit back on these run plays. He gets up there and fills that gap and fills it on the other side of the line of scrimmage.
Harry Fuel, the defensive coordinator, who did a masterful job last year. Lots of injuries, plenty this year as well. Mixing and matching and pasting and gluing. And he's got a Super Bowl ring to show for it. 2nd down and 10. And that is Webster, who gets to Jackson at the same time the ball does.
You know, it's so interesting for me to watch this game. Deshaun Jackson is going to take a little slant and take a shot in the back of the head. Corey Webster playing with that cast on his hand. But these two teams know each other so well. If you watch the games in the past, there's an evolution to this thing. We did this the last time we played them, and now we're going to do this off of it, offensively and defensively.
That was a gain of 4 on the last pass. The ball was at the 30-yard line. And only 10 guys on the field for Philadelphia offensively. They take a timeout. Tom Coughlin, 17 years as a head coach in the league. Jacksonville and the Giants. Andy Reid, longest tenured in the league right now with one team, came here in '99. So 14th season for Big Red. Vic and Pierre Paul. Chris said before, Vic saying, when I come up to the line of scrimmage, I look for Pierre Paul, and then I look for Pierre Paul.
I bet he's looking for OCU Manura now to see if he can get outside him again.
Manura on the right defensive side. It's 3rd down and 6. And Vic comes back this way, and the pass is incomplete as Prince Amukamara got there. Macklin was the intended receiver to be 4th down.
Vic took a big shot on that one, and I'm not sure this is a 1st down even if he catches it when he takes that step back to the ball. Not sure he ever got to the line.
First time he goes Macklin's way tonight. He missed the game last week. First time he's been targeted. Now a 48-yard attempt by Alex Henry to try to give Philadelphia the lead again. And Henry's kick out of McBriar's hold is right down Broad Street. 2:07 remaining in the 3rd quarter, and the Eagles on top by 3.
McBriar, the new holder, not an issue. It's nice when those laces are front and center when you catch it, and you just get to put that thing on the ground. Perfect snap. There you go. What a thankless job that is.
Well, we can see some history. Next Sunday night, we're going to go to New Orleans. Drew Brees, his team may be 0-4, but he has a chance to set a record that stood since 1960, held by Johnny Unitas. Football night gets things started. Unitas throwing a touchdown pass in 47 consecutive games. That was a 4-year period, because in those days in the NFL they were playing 12 games. And then Brees, he got one early today with Colston getting away with a push-off, but he threw 3, as it turns out, in a losing cause. So Brees tries to break what we thought was an unbreakable mark next Sunday night against the San Diego Chargers on Sunday Night Football.
Chargers playing pretty well right now themselves.
3-1.
Yep.
Went in and jumped on the Kansas City Chiefs today. A yard in. David Wilson's and a couple of good run backs. He's off to the races again, all the way to midfield. So Wilson and the crowd booing the special teams unit for allowing another long return. This one 53 yards.
Every single one of these so far have been not just big returns, but gaping holes. I mean, it's like the Red Sea parting in there. I've never seen a kickoff return. You got the wedge. It can only be a 2-man wedge, and when the wedge wipes out 2 of them, there's going to be a gaping hole.
Marty Gilliard, the last man, with a shot at him, knocks him down at the 49-yard line. And Manning will go to work, and they'll swing it out to the fullback. That is Henry Hynoski, taken down after a gain of 2, and we go to Michelle.
Well, Al, the Eagles had told us that Nnamdi Asomugha had gone to the hospital to get some attention on that poked right eye. Obviously, he's back on the field now. They have since changed that and said he never did, in fact, go to the hospital. We reported that at halftime when we were told, but obviously he's back here and on the field. He did not make that trip, Al.
Yeah, I was thinking that the same thing, Michelle. I was wondering if that hospital was like in section 101.
Yeah, they got a shield, though. He's
right.
Not going to take another poke.
2nd and 10. They have a jail here, but not a hospital. And that's a one-handed grab made by Bradshaw, who takes the ball to the 40-yard line. Giant possessions tonight. Got off to a slow start, of course, early on. You had the first 5 resulting in punts. And then they heated it up at the end of the half with a field goal. And because of Wilson's run back, they only had to go 57 yards, and he's set them up again in good shape on this drive. "40 seconds to the end of the third. Third and inches. Running back is Andre Brown. Majnowski sets up as the fullback in the slot, and Eli is going to take a timeout with the play clock going all the way down.
And both teams now have wasted a timeout here.
This is a 30-second timeout.
I'll say this for Kevin Gilbride. I don't know what he's thinking, but Andre Brown showed that he can get up over the top and dive for touchdowns or first downs. You know, Kevin Gilbride doesn't get a lot of credit for winning championships, but you know, as good as Eli was, somebody was calling those plays as they were going up and down the field in two of the most clutch drives that we've ever seen in Super Bowl history. And you know, Gilbride is okay with playing the game that Tom Coughlin wants to play. I mean, he's not playing this to be one of those 40 points a game guys. He's playing what Tom Coughlin wants.
They go back away as the Giants third or 4th and 1 rushing. You saw the numbers there. Let's see what they do here on third and inches. Bradshaw is now the running back, so they had Brown in before the timeout, supplying him with Bradshaw. And Ahmad will not get it, even though Booth signals he does. Comes up a little bit short at the 40-yard line with Cullen Jenkins near the bottom of the pile.
I'll tell you, this Fletcher Cox is making a difference. I think that was Chris Snee. He kind of drove back into the backfield right there. Watch this guy. They say he is the sleekest looking 300-pound guy you've ever seen, and everybody I talked to in Philadelphia this week said that he has the makings of a star, both as a pass rusher and a run defender.
Gave him a spot on the other side of the 40. They're going to bring the chain gang in. They'll wind the clock after the measurement. That should be the final play of the quarter, so at least Coughlin will have all the time he needs to decide what he's going to do right next, because the fourth quarter is going to start with a 4th and inches.
I think you go for this one.
And as soon as the chain gang gets set, they're going to wind the clock so the Giants could run a play if they so desire, or at least line up. Try to draw the Eagles offside. If nothing else, they can let the clock go all the way down to the end of the quarter. For the moment, you've got Bradshaw in the backfield. There's really no downside if you're not going to run the play.
Go hard count.
Go hard count here. Try to draw them off.
We're going shotgun.
Interesting. Will they snap it?
And coverage everywhere.
Yes, they do, and it's a low snap, and Eli has to go down to get it, and converts to Cruz inside the 20 to the 10-yard line, and that will take us to the end of the third quarter. Well, how about that? 4th and inches. Coughlin goes for it. Big play here. 38 yards. End of 3. Philadelphia 13 and the Giants 10. Sunday Night Football resumes after these messages. And tonight's aerial coverage being brought to you by Geico as we start the fourth quarter in Philadelphia. Al Michaels, Chris Collinsworth, Michelle Tafoya. Sunday Night Football. Cruz and Rogers Cromartie, and a lot of guts shown by the Giants to run that play at that time at the end of the third, setting up a 1st and goal from the 10, and then it is picked off in the end zone by Rogers Cromartie, and Rogers Cromartie is able to get out of the end zone and out of bounds at the 8-yard line. Whew, what a turn of events that was for Dominique Rogers Cromartie and for the game itself, obviously.
I just don't think Eli ever saw any of this. They have 2 tight ends in the game, and they're in this bunch formation. But Dominique Rogers Cromartie's just sitting here. These are tight ends in here. He's just sitting back there waiting, and all of a sudden, Eli threw it right to him. I mean, I have no explanation. Maybe he thought he was coming up on Victor Cruz, but wow, for a guy that hasn't made a mistake tonight. Eli just made a huge one.
Yeah, you had Bennett cutting across the back of the end zone as he goes over that play with him.
Never saw him. There's no way he saw him.
And so Eli, the master of the fourth quarter comeback, starts the fourth with a pick. And then McCoy will cut it back, swings to the outside, gets bumped out of bounds at the 15. McCoy, sometimes it takes him a while to get started, and the Giants know that all too well. Fourth quarter in 6 career games against them, averaging 9.4 yards per carry. 40, 50, 60, and 66-yard runs for him. And so McCoy, who got it going tonight, now has 16 for 68 yards, a 34-yard scamper, the big one. And that is caught. That's Jason Avant over the middle. And Jason Avant out to the 38-yard line, where he's tackled by Will Hill.
One of the great breaks of the game so far, Demetrius Bell is going to trip Antrell Roll coming through the middle here. Not intentional, but he was going to hit Vic before he could throw that football and just happened to trip up Antrell Roll. Saved it.
From the 38-yard line. Inside handoff, they give the ball to Avili. And the fullback takes the ball for a gain of 7 up to the 45-yard line.
It's a good-looking play right there. Todd Harriman's pulling out and around. You think the fullback Avili's over there on the flank. You're not even remotely concerned about him getting the ball. Boy, what a turnaround for Cromartie. Give up the big play on fourth down and pick off the next one.
And set up a drive that now has them at the 45-yard line, second down and 3. Giants moving around to the left side of the defense, and here's McCoy going through the middle, takes the ball to the Giants' 45-yard line for a first down.
Like the Giants were unsettled in there, moving around. Big Marvin Austin right here, and the double team just took him straight back. McCoy has been gouging them on the outside as they've lost contain, and now they're taking it right at the interior of the Giants.
And the linebackers creeping up.
Can't do it.
To the outside. And the shifty McCoy, they call him Shady, to the 30-yard line.
No matter what you believe, you cannot leave the backside against this guy. Jason Pierre-Paul is chasing it like it's me running around in the backfield. This guy does this so consistently, does it every game. You just have to assume he's coming back to you, and so far tonight, the Giants have not been disciplined on the backside.
And it's cost him from the 32-yard line. Off the fake, he steps up, does Vic, and he hits Havili. Think about McCoy. He's one of those few every down backs. In fact, he was in for more than 80% of Philadelphia's plays last year. He and Ray Rice, the two guys you can count on every down.
I'll tell you the other thing, Al, this no-huddle offense has worn down the Giants defensively. You know, they don't do all the substituting that the Eagles do with their defensive line, and the pressure isn't quite what it once was here.
Second down and 3. Here's Bryce Brown, and he should have the first down. A rookie out of Kansas State, the 7th round pick. Plays being called in by Marty Mornhinweg, assistant head coach, offensive coordinator, one-time head coach at Detroit.
Boy, was he worked up this week. He could not believe how many mistakes his offense made in Arizona. And for Perry Fewell, he's getting some late substitutes on. Just got him off.
Vic with time. Throws incomplete. Jackson was the closest man to it. Second and 10.
One of the things that you really have to do against great pass rushers is occasionally don't back up. occasionally go after him the way Demetrius Bell did here. See how he's going to jump off the ball early, but he's not going to take those big kick steps. So he's just going to try and surprise OCU Manura before he gets out of the stance.
Inside, they run that play again. Havili with the same success, about an 8-yard gain. Tuck makes the tackle. Worked the first time, works the second time.
Yeah, and this time, Matthias Kiwanuka on the backside got his contained. Then they make a cut inside. You typically don't see fullbacks that can make a cut like that, but when you have a West Coast offense, think back to Bill Walsh in those days, their fullbacks are athletic pass catchers.
Third and a short 3. Vic pressured, steps away, and gets taken to the ground by Chase Blackburn at the 17-yard line. So that's going to set up a field goal attempt, and that's the first sack of the game for either team tonight.
Yeah, great coverage on the outside. Prince Amukamara playing on that bad ankle has had a nice game so far tonight. Stevie Brown on Selleck, solid job there. And then Webster on Jackson. Forced Vic to scramble, and that was big.
Henry, 35-yard attempt, trying to make it 3 for 3. And he does. 9:25 left in regulation. The Eagle lead is 6. Sunday Night Football being brought to you by Here Comes the Boom in theaters October the 12th. By BMW, we only make one thing, the ultimate driving machine. By Corona Extra, who invites you to find your beach. And by Share Everything, only from Verizon. Man, does time go by. This stadium, we were here for the opener in 03, so it's the 10th season already for Lincoln Financial Field. Taking the place of the old vet for that Franklin Field here in Philadelphia. And what about David Wilson?
Right onside it here.
Now let's see what the coverage is here, because Wilson is going to bring it back from 5 yards in. And this time there's a big Bronx cheer in Philadelphia because the coverage unit does its job. Eli goes to work from the 17 in the fourth quarter. This week, Jay Leno, Bryan Cranston, Ben Affleck, Carol Burnett, and Christina Applegate guesting on The Tonight Show with Jay Leno right here on NBC.
It's like Jay Leno driving down the highway. Man loves his cars, doesn't
he? He does. Giants begin from their own 17-yard line. On a draw with Bradshaw swinging to the outside. It's a nice ankle tackle up at the 20 by Asamoah. Now Eli, in the fourth quarter last year, 15 TD passes, 6 game-winning drives, including that spectacular one on that Sunday night in Dallas. This year, 3 TDs, no picks. And they were down by more than 10 in the fourth quarter in the week 2 against the Buccaneers. And he had that spectacular second half. And threw for over 500 yards. So the master of the comeback will have to do it again. It's 2nd down and 7.
Got it.
Oh, lots of time. And then reaching out and making the catch is Barton into Eagle territory and tackled at the 49-yard line. Great timing. Floated it in there. Gain of 31.
Kurt Coleman, I told you, he jumps, play action passes. Watch this. Play fake. He comes up. Rams his Barton right over the top. You have to know some situations. You're inside of 9 minutes, and you give them a freebie.
Ran by Asamoah as well. The ball is at the 49-yard line. Bring Hynoski in as the fullback. Fronting Bradshaw. Again, play fake. Again over the middle, wide open. Taking it is Hickson. Hickson inside the 20, breaking tackles, and Hickson thrust out of bounds, setting up a first down and goal. Got away from Nate Allen at the end. So play fake again. Burning him is Eli, 41 yards.
Watch this move. Nnamdi Asomugha obviously thought he was getting some help, and I think that was Nate Allen that was going up for the play fake this time. Coming up, go right behind him. Both safeties coming too soon to play the run, which is a 6-point lead. I don't know. You tell me why.
Giants with 2 receivers now in triple figures. Hexum and Cruz to 100 yards. On the draw, Bradshaw. Ahmad to the 6. You know, we're talking about those comebacks. Eli last year, so magnificent, taking them from behind. On the other side of the coin, that was the bane of Philadelphia's existence last year. They blew 5 fourth-quarter leads.
Well, they played well at the end of the year, but they just could never catch up after that slow start, and probably the changeover on the defensive side contributed to it as much as anything.
Under 7 to play, 2nd and goal. Bunch formation to the right. Eli stepping up, throws wide open over the middle to Bear Pasco. One of those in that bunch formation, first time he's targeted tonight, and the Giants tie the game and have a chance to take the lead with the extra point.
I'm not sure I've ever seen the Philadelphia Eagles play worse defense than they did on that drive. Come inside here, completely leave the outside guy in. That's the most basic of all bunch pattern routes. They just crisscross, completely lose the inside tight end. Dreadful coverage that entire drive.
Times to give the Giants the lead, which he does. Pasco's first regular season touchdown, had one in the playoffs last year. Only takes 240 to go 83 yards. 17-16, New York. Earlier today, Drew Brees in Green Bay throwing a touchdown pass, 47 straight games, tying the iconic record. Johnny Unitas back in the 50s, 47 straight games, and Brees with a chance to set the record next Sunday night on Sunday Night Football at home against the San Diego Chargers. Times sending it down to Boykin, a rookie out of Georgia. Will get stopped at the 17-yard line. And Michael Vick, through his career, game-winning drives, 13 of them. 6 with the Eagles, and 2 of them this season. Both games they won against Cleveland, at Cleveland in the opener, and against Baltimore in week 2. They were trailing in the 4th quarter.
Plenty of time. You can run anything in your offense. Sean McCoy has been very effective here lately.
Boys rushed for 91 yards after being stymied in the first half. And Vick guns it over the middle, right on the money. Jackson makes the catch, tackled by Webster, so a good start on this drive for the Eagles.
And the key is they're getting chips on both pass rushers on the outside. Here's Jason Pierre-Paul, and they leave Jason Avant in, and he chips, and then he's the underneath guy in the route. And on the other side, same thing. The tight end gets a little piece of him.
From the 36. McCoy, there he goes, around the end again to midfield. Danny Watkins pulling, helping lead the way.
Well, Brent Selleck with a really nice block out on JPP, but it's the fullback again, Havili, who gets down the field, and as he's chopping his guy, Chase Blackburn gets caught up in the wash, and there's nobody there. The edge defense of the Giants has been pretty bad in this one.
From the 49-yard line of the Giants. Giants are saying there's movement. No flag. Here's McCoy. And turning around again. Turns it into a decent gain to the 44. Gain of 5. Great NFC East rivalry in that division. Dallas plays tomorrow night against Chicago. They're 2-1 with a victory over the Giants on opening night in hand. And the winner of this game goes to 3-1, and then Washington at the end pulls one out at Tampa today. And the Skins are 2-2 through week 4. 2nd and 5 now. With time again to the outside. Catch is made Macklin. So Macklin, who missed last week's game with a hip injury, has only been targeted a couple of times tonight, and that's his first catch of the game.
Really nice read by Vic on that one. This is one of the few times that they've rotated back in coverage, and Vic saw it right off the bat. Maybe a better way to rotate the other way, not to his open field side where he was going to see that in his drop back.
McCoy. Not much this time, taking it to the 36-yard line. Short gain.
Now that was good by Blackburn. That time they switched responsibilities on the outside. Jason Pierre-Paul came crashing inside and Chase Blackburn looped out. I kind of like that adjustment right there. Come here, and now they're going to set the edge with Blackburn, and it was much more effective. Selleck can't get out there to get him out of the way. Perfectly played by Blackburn.
1-yard pickup. Ticking down to 4 minutes. 2nd and 9. Play action. Vic's going to take off. He's going to get the first down, and he's going to go out of bounds inside the 25-yard line. Michael Vick.
Todd Herremans has not had the easiest of games, but this was a big play here. Working against Justin Tuck, who almost got the outside on him, and he just shoves him by Mike Vick, who then steps up. One of the problems with not rushing 5 against Vick, there are some huge running lanes in there.
So first down now. You've got Jackson lined up in the slot. You got Vick going back to throw. You got the tight end Selleck taking it to the 15-yard line. So a good mixture on this drive. Meanwhile, the running game of the Eagles non-existent in the first half. Tonight they have rushed for 179 yards past the 237. Good balance.
Yeah, and this double chipping strategy on the outside is just frustrating these pass rushers so much for the Giants, and now they have no choice but to just sit there and watch this clock tick away as the Eagles continue to move it down the field.
2nd down and 2. McCoy. It will be first down and goal, going right through the middle of the Giant D to the 8.
As you come off the backside, you can see how hard Evan Mathis, Demetrius Bell work on the backside of these runs because they know McCoy is going to come back. And now we're kind of getting down to that moment in the game where it actually might benefit the Giants if they scored a touchdown to at least give Eli some time.
First down and goal at the 8. Each team has used a timeout. So each has 2 plus the 2-minute warning. Here goes McCoy. McCoy around the corner, but he gets taken down by Prince Amukamara. And the Eagles will not have to run. There's Amukamara, who had an ankle sprain in preseason. Just a couple of games, and he's going to go limping off. And the Eagles are going to let the clock go down to the 2-minute warning. So, perhaps a dramatic finish ahead. We're headed that way. 2 minutes to go with the Giants on top 17-16 and the Eagles driving. After the game, the Wendy's post-game report. Michelle down on the field. Bob Tony and Mike Florio will break it down, talk about news around the league, and we will take a look ahead to next week's game in New Orleans. So the strategy here now, 2 minutes to go, the Giants are going to get the ball back one way or another. You can think about, well, letting them score here. The problem with that is if you let them score a touchdown, and if they take the touchdown, you need a touchdown. For the Giants, it would behoove them, obviously, to get Philadelphia to settle for a field goal, chip shot field goal, and then all the Giants would need is a field goal. The Giants have 2 timeouts. We have 2 minutes to go, and it's 2nd down and goal at the 4-yard line. And Bryce Brown is the running back here. And they give it to him. And Brown's going to get taken down just inside the 3. And the Giants now will take a timeout. So it'll be 3rd down and goal with 1:54 left. The wheels are spinning right now. If you're Andy Reid, what do? Do you call a pass play? The problem with a pass play is if it's incomplete, you get your field goal, but you leave Coughlin with a timeout. If you run a running play and you don't get it, you make Tom use his last timeout, assuming he chooses to use it at this point. So he would have no timeouts. And of course, for the Giants, the big thing right now is to limit them to a field goal, so they would only need a field goal. So what does Reid do right here?
I'm running Michael Vick, period. Whether it's outside, inside, draw, that's what I would do. I'm going to make them burn that timeout.
McCoy and Havili are split backs in this set. 3rd and goal. They're going to roll Vick out. Vick looking, and Vick's going to go down at the 9-yard line, and now the Giants can take their final timeout, which they do. It's 4th down and goal, and even without the timeout, that's a lot of time for Eli to go to work and only need a field goal.
Yeah, I thought they were going to go more shotgun and do some kind of a draw. They put him in behind the center, actually get him out there, and Mike was sort of limping as he came off the field. Don't know exactly what happened to him, but there was just one-on-one on the outside, but there was no way Michael Vick was throwing that ball. That was a run all the way.
And now you've got Henry coming in. He's 3 for 3. He's got a new holder in McBriar, but McBriar, as a Dallas Cowboy with a lot of experience holding, they've had no problems tonight. Their snapper's one of the best in the league in Dornbos, and it's a chip shot to try to give the Eagles the lead. This will be about a 26-yarder. And Manning will get the ball. And a couple of kicks, less than 152 when this play is over. 26-yard attempt. Snap and hold were good, and the kick is just good. Where have we seen that before, huh? Just inside the right upright. And back and forth we go in this one with 149, and it's 19-17 Eagles.
Yeah, they had that one. Well, now comes the David Wilson show. Are you going to kick it to him deep and give him another shot at this thing?
That's what you're thinking about right now. And of course, Eli is the master of the 4th quarter comeback. So his play selection, I mean, who do you think is the guy he'll be more likely to target than anybody else on this drive?
Well, Victor Cruz obviously has been his big play guy, along with Hickson down the field. But it would not surprise me in this moment, Martellus
Yeah,
Bennett.
I'm just thinking the same thing. I mean, he's the tight end who's played such a key role, and he's been silent tonight.
Yeah, he caught that one pass that was called back on a penalty, but he is a big target, and he's a weapon they have not had on this Giants team. A guy that can go down the field, go up high, and make a play. I'm going to assume that the Eagles' safeties are not going to overreact to the run and come up the way that they did on that last drive.
So there's Wilson, averaging 36 a return, had a good one called back by a penalty, and he is going to get a chance here from 2 yards in the end zone. Coming straight up the middle. And Wilson with another good run back, taking it to the 37-yard line. The Bluebirds come out again with that coverage group.
You know, it would have been hard for me to kick him in that situation, kick it to him. I would have squibbed that thing somehow. They have, on 80% of the kickoff returns, they've been bringing it back. That's probably the worst return he had.
143, ton of time, ball at the 35, trying to get into field goal range at worst. And Manning will throw and falling down, incomplete. Victor Cruz, as he turns around about 10 yards downfield, goes to the turf, second down.
Very lucky this ball's not intercepted. So many times when the receiver slips and falls, it lands right in the lap of the defender. Brandon Boykin giving a lot of room on the outside as they ship on Trent Cole on the other side. They're staying with those two deep safeties, so you think they're going to stay this side to Victor Cruz's side. Bennett will have a shot too.
Cruz, slot right, Hickson, wide right. Barton to the left. Manning drops the snap, spins away, throws, incomplete. Ooh, Eli lucky to get it away, and it's third down and 10.
Boy, David Boss having a tough time with these snaps tonight. We've seen more than one here. Nobody on his head. That thing one hops, and you could see Boss turn around and look. He knew it slipped out of his hands. So two terrible plays for the Giants to start this drive.
From the 35. Crowd rising as one, stopping. Minute and a half. Barton comes to the inside. Manning throws, caught, but it's going to be a little short of the first. That's Cruz, and it's fourth down in the ball game right here for the Giants. Fourth down. Coughlin saying, come on.
No time to think about it. I think if I'm Eli, I might jump up there and quarterback sneak this thing.
Fourth and one.
Gonna have one-on-one with Cruz and Boykin again.
Manning throwing deep, and flags are thrown, two of them, because Rogers Cromartie was holding on to Barton. Pretty clear.
Cromartie was saying he grabbed my face mask first.
Pass interference. Defense number 23. Penalizes the spot of the foul and a first down.
Let's see here. I'm not so sure he didn't. Clearly the interference was there, but I think that Cromartie was right too. I think he grabbed his face mask on the release.
So the ball at the 35. They're already within long field goal range. Finds his career long is 53, which he's done twice. First down to the 35 with 63 seconds. And Manning will throw, and that's underthrown and incomplete. Intended for Cruz, second down. And there is Tynes. Hasn't missed one this season. Clutch. He's been here before. Second and 10. This time, Hickson and Cruz go to the left and Barton to the right.
Tell you, it looks like might be sneaking up. Nate Allen was sneaking up like he was coming on the blitz.
Here come the Eagles. The pass is caught. That's Barton, and Barton takes it to the 25, and that's going to make it a lot easier. Now they're going to say no. Barton had it. Asamoah is there, and then it gets waved off.
Asamoah with a big jam off the line of scrimmage, and then is going to drag that thing out of there.
Wow.
Have to maintain possession. 2 feet down. Ball's out.
Just as he goes down.
It's a correct call.
Big play by Asamoah. Big. Third and 10.
Now do you want to go for 5 here just to make this field goal a little easier?
And that will be incomplete.
Uh-oh.
Flag is thrown again, though. That's Barton involved in it. Flag in that area right there. That's Coleman saying, who?
Well, it looked like Nnamdi Asamoah got his hands up around the face mask.
Pass interference. Defense number 24. Penalizes the spot of the foul and a first down.
They were cheering the referees when they came out before the game.
Crowd wants the replacements back. But they're getting the calls right.
Whoa. I don't think I'm calling that one. Wow, what a call that is.
49 seconds. It gives them an automatic first down. Right now you're looking at a 46-yard field goal. And they're going to give it to Bradshaw, and Bradshaw is going to take the ball to the 26. Working the clock now from the other side. They want to leave Philadelphia with nothing. Back to the interference call.
Let's see. Shot to the face. That's not. I wouldn't have called it. That's all I can tell you. And I keep playing offense here too.
Yeah, you're an ex-receiver. And Manning's going to go deep, and that is incomplete. And that's Barden again.
They're going to call that pass interference on Asamoah again.
Yep.
Oh no, they go the other way.
Yeah. The Giants think it's going to go against them,
Pass
and
interference.
it will.
Offense number 13. 10-yard penalty. Keep second down.
So back and forth with the flags.
Well, Asamoah is going to get in position and watch him sort of check him out of bounds. He's going to just get in front. To me, that's, and then Barden is going to grab him over the top. Wow. Tough calls on both sides.
That makes it about a 54-yard field goal attempt if they don't gain another yard. No timeout, 2nd and 19. Eli sprinting away. Eli throwing into double coverage. Incomplete for Hickson. So now it's 3rd down.
You've got a tough situation now because
you
if
can't
you
throw in the
get
middle
tackled.
of the field. And they're going to bring Tynes out right now because the issue is if you don't get out of bounds and you complete it in the middle of the field, it's going to be 4th down if you don't get the first down, and you can't spike it.
You know, that was one you really needed to take a look at where you were on the field. 5 yards was pretty valuable in that moment.
Very. 54-yard attempt with 15 seconds. Weatherford to hold it. And Tynes' kick. There's no good, but timeout was called. Timeout had been called. And how often do we see this?
Timeout. Philadelphia.
So the crowd is ecstatic, and now they're going to realize there was a timeout called.
Let's take a look. Andy Reid. Wow, that was either right on the money or a little tardy even with the timeout.
Yep. I hate that rule. I really do.
You know, now they're going to go back to 15 seconds. Now, will they think about this strategy? Would you consider it all trying to throw one to the out? Of course, the Eagles will be sitting all over any outbreaking routes here.
Right. Who's going to throw it? Weatherford? You got to get to the 18 for a first down. Biasi to snap it. So Tynes gets another shot after he was wide left. And this time, Tynes' kick is no good, just short. Accurate enough, but just short. And those extra yards come back to burn the Giants.
They're in field goal range. The only thing that knocks them out of field goal range is a penalty, and they get the penalty.
Whew. And he's a couple of yards shy. And the Eagles are going to go to 3-1, and the 3 victories by a composite 4 points.
That pass interference call is going to be discussed for a while.
Oh, yeah. Well, you had the questionable one defensively, then the offensive one. Out of field goal range they go. The Eagles continue to have the Giants number. That's 8 out of 9 counting a playoff game. And here's the pass interference call again on Barton.
Watch Nnamdi sort of wrap his arms around him, and then Barton on the top side. I think I could have called that one both ways.
But that call goes to Philadelphia, and so does the game. 19-17, the Eagles win it. The Wendy's post-game report coming right up on Sunday Night Football.